Hello everybody out there. You're welcome to Example of Play, your home for strategy, tactics, and more. If you haven't subscribed already, now's your chance. This is the latest strategy gaming news recap for December 18th, 2024. This is where we're just going to run through strategy gaming news and updates for different games. I'm still looking for sources to gather all the news out there, so right now it's mostly the things I'm interested in and anything I see that I think would be fun to share with you. So if you have news about a game you're excited about, or you're a developer or publisher out there, be sure to send it to me and I'll throw it in the mix. We have several topics on the agenda today, starting with the WARNO received its first big expansion pack, North AG, North AG, however you say it, about the Northern Army Group for NATO during the Cold War. And let's look over some of the features that it adds. All right, so North AG it's $25, so I'll give you a price tag for it. It's getting some mixed reviews so far, so we'll look down at those, see what people think. They're split about half and half. New features in this expansion, so 2 new Army General campaigns. That is where you play kind of open-ended campaigns where you have some kind of objective, but you're moving units around on a big strategic map and then fighting out the battles as well. So if you're into that, 2 of those. 4 new operations. These are the kind of one-off special scenarios that have very specific objectives, so they're kind of different than the normal gameplay. I've played one of them so far, and it was really fun, and the other ones look interesting as well, so probably expect a video of one of those at some point. It adds 10 new divisions, so in WARNO, all the War Games series, the Eugen Systems games, the divisions are kind of a selection of units, usually from a particular country, or they have some kind of theme to them. And so there's 10 new ones added that you can play around with. And among those are 3 whole new nations for WARNO. So Belgium and Netherlands for NATO, and then Warsaw Pact adding Poland. And then some new units, models, and that sort of thing. It also came along with a big patch that added a couple of new minor features and updates and things. And then a free reinforcement pack, number 5 so far, that adds a couple new maps to the game. Now, looking over the reviews, I'll say first and foremost that for the Eugen Systems games, I'm definitely a casual player. I go online a little bit just to have fun, but I'm not a competitive player at these at all. And so a lot of the complaints are people thinking the price is a little too high for what you're getting, and that they don't like some of the new divisions, that some of them aren't very powerful or aren't interesting enough. But other people disagree and think that they are pretty good. So definitely it's split right down the middle on this. So, it's up to you if it's what you want. Kind of depends on how into the single player stuff you are versus wanting new divisions to play with in the multiplayer. But I'm enjoying it so far. But I already have the expansion pass already, so I'm a sucker for these games. I scoop them up. So be playing that one soon. All right, now next we have an update for Shadow Empire. This is the first update for the game in about 6 months, and it adds some new content. And really, I just like talking about Shadow Empire. Definitely kind of a deeper cut, not for everybody, but this is kind of like, I don't know, the Dwarf Fortress of war games maybe. It is a sci-fi 4X hex encounter war game, but with elements of building up your economy, of role play. Like you have characters kind of like Crusader Kings or something. You have all these different people that you're balancing their personalities and what they want while you're building out this civilization, and the world that you're in can be different depending on how you generate the game. It's different every time. Anyway, I need to make a whole video about Shadow Empire because it's just such a cool game that's hard to play, very hard to get into, but really impressive, all the stuff it does. Looking at the patch, it's called the Dangers and Dormitories update, so that's basically what it's adding. New danger events, so these are like events that can happen during the game. There's like random things that add to the story basically. So 33 new variations of those, and new like graphics and stuff to kind of show what's going on with them. And then the dormitories part, adding some new structures, social housing, worker apartments. So yeah, it's a war game, but also where you're worried about building like housing for your workers in your country that you're building up. And then a whole bunch of patch notes go on and on. It's first update in 6 months, so good to see this game alive and kicking and still getting updates. It's one of those for sure that if you're into it, you're way into it, and if you're looking at it like that and saying I have no desire to play this game, I would totally understand. Not for everyone, but a fun game to check out if you've never heard of it. There is the winter sale for War Game Design Studio. So their games aren't on Steam. You got to go check out their store page. But they make old school style war games. They have quite a few that have been, some have been around forever. Some they're going through and updating. I'm working on going to make a video for one of them pretty soon. But these games, they're normally $40 a piece. Right now, they're all, for now until January 5th, they're marked down 25%. So basically, they're all $30. They have one for just about every subject you can think of, going back to Napoleonic, Civil War, but also World War II, Vietnam, modern era for sure. Now, of course, looking at the graphics, not for everyone, but very detailed simulation war games, old school style, but very playable, very fun, covering lots of different topics. And each one of these games have a ton of scenarios. Like just looking at this one, has 72 scenarios for Dien Bien Phu, which you would think is, a single big important battle, but one battle and setting, but it comes with 72 scenarios. So you're definitely getting some bang for your buck with these games. But of course, they're not for everyone. But again, check them out if you have, because they're not on Steam, so you might not be tracking that they have their big, this is like their annual sale going on. So a good time to pop over and see what they got for you. All right, next we're going to look at the first new faction added in a DLC for Songs of Conquest. This is the Vanir DLC. It adds a new faction that's sort of like Viking themed. Songs of Conquest is a spiritual successor to Heroes of Might and Magic. Beautiful graphics, as you can see. The gameplay very similar if you played Heroes of Might and Magic 3, those types of games from back in the day. It came out earlier this year. Very solid release. I've played quite a bit of it. This DLC adds the new faction. It's on sale off the bat for about $10. Adds some new biomes, so like snow and ice go with the Viking theme. The new faction with their own units, all that kind of thing. New maps to play on, and some challenge maps. One thing it does not include is an actual campaign for them. It's a little controversial among the fans. Earlier this year, they announced they're going to kind of split things up and do faction packs and then do the campaigns later. So if you're looking for a campaign, it's not here. There are some like challenge maps that kind of teach you or show that you've mastered playing this faction, and then new maps just in general to play on. So not a big price tag. It looks like a fun new faction. The reviews are positive so far. But a great game if you're looking for Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but you want it with a fresh coat of paint and some modern mechanics. It's not just a clone. There's a lot of new stuff to it too. So definitely one of the better strategy games of this year along those lines. So be sure and check that out. All right, so next up we have Stormgate. They've put out their first big update since the game came out in early access. This is the little RTS that made by a bunch of the developers from games that I grew up loving, like Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. They're trying to create the next big RTS. It's free to play, so it doesn't cost anything to try it, but there's not a lot of people playing right now. It kind of came out the gate to mixed reception and then has floundered since then. Not a big player base at the moment. But what they're going for, I love the idea of it, so I'm cheering for them. I hope that they keep the updates coming and that the game continues to improve. They're working on making the graphics look a little nicer. They've got, they're going to do balance changes, new units. And what this update brings is expands on the co-op side. So the game has like single player, multiplayer competitive, and then multiplayer co-op, and a lot of different co-op modes where you have like heroes and that kind of thing. So this update adds a new co-op hero. It adds new units for that hero, and then lets you level up your other heroes higher level. So if you enjoy the co-op side of it, there's plenty there. But on the competitive side, some people disappointed that they haven't hit it with a balance update that the game needs for sure, because it's hard to have a competitive player base when the game's not well balanced. And so that's kind of the complaints I've been seeing out there. So cheering for you guys, Stormgate, keep going. Hope it gets better, and looking for more. But yeah, it's free to play. So if you're looking for just to try something out, it is there. The co-op is pretty fun. All right, so those are the news items I had for the week. what's coming up on the channel over the next week or so. Definitely more Sea Power tutorials, so I started on that if you didn't see it yet. Really excited to keep playing this game, learning how to play it, and sharing it with all of you. From kind of the feedback I've seen out there, people saying that the game is fairly easy to control, and it has tutorials in it that cover, you know, how to control, how to mechanically control your units. But really, a lot of the questions are understanding what the different types of units do, what the different types of weapons do, how do I actually use them. So I'm going to make videos kind of focusing on different aspects, like how to use different, you know, how to use an attack submarine versus a missile sub, or how to use a destroyer versus a cruiser, different types of fighters, that kind of thing. So the next video I'm working on is going to be submarine. So this game is this kind of the sequel to Cold Waters, or from the same team. And that was all about submarines. So going to tackle how to captain a submarine in the next video. So look forward to that, and then more topics to come afterwards. And then for our non-strategy news of the week, Helldivers 2 got its big, massive update that people have been looking for. I played this game a ton when it came out earlier this year, and after I'd played like 80 something hours. I'd kind of seen everything I wanted to see, was waiting for a new big update, and it's finally here. It's a free update. It adds the Illuminate, which is the third race that people have been predicting the whole time from the first game. And they're pretty fun to play against because it's a mix of kind of high-tech alien stuff with zombies, and then also there's new maps to play on that have like cities, like urban maps, which goes really well with the new race that like basically turns people into zombies. And so you're dealing with like a combination of zombies and like War of the Worlds walkers and stuff like that, UFO things. So it's really fun. Also, it adds a new vehicle, like a buggy that the team can drive around in on the map. So if you haven't played Helldivers 2 in a while, definitely now is a great time to jump back into it, because yeah, that new update is great. Basically giving people everything that they've been wanting all year. All right, so that's your news recap for this week. Like I said, if you've got news you want to share that you're excited about as a fan, or if as a developer, send it to me. My email's in the details below, and I will try to get it on the next recap. I don't know if I'll keep doing these every week or every other week. It just kind of depends. But thanks for watching. Hit subscribe so you get more, and we'll see you next time.